I know exactly what you're thinking. You're thinking to yourself, what am I going to play in 3.20 Sanctum League now that Lightning Strike has been nerfed? Now that Spectral Helix has been nerfed? Now that Lightning Conduit has been nerfed? How am I going to farm up enough currency to buy a Voltaxic Rift if it's actually Mage Blood rarity? Well, folks, do I have the build for you? Now, I know the skill tree is being changed and all that sort of stuff, but we're just going to do our best. We're going to see what happens. So, what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen, is self-cast Volatile Dead. That's right, you heard me. Self-cast Volatile Dead. This is a build you can start in Act 1 with gems that are given to you for free on a 2-link times 2. Hello everyone, I am the Normal Exile, and in today's video we're going to be discussing my 3.20 League starter for the Hardcore Sanctum League. So, let's get into it. Alright everyone, so here we are in game. We are logged into Witch Startup VD. She is an elementalist currently. We'll talk about why I decided to go with that Ascendancy in a little bit. But basically all we need to start the build is Unearth, which you get after killing Brutus, LMP, which you get from Bestel's Quest, Volatile Dead, which you get from Merveil's Cavern, and Combustion. I believe that you also get that from Brutus's, after you kill Brutus. So, those two links, that is all you need to get the build started. In fact, if we take out all the other links, give me just a second here, you can see the playstyle is just like that. You go ahead and just blow those up. And then obviously, as these are killing enemies, you won't have to continually use Unearth. You can actually chain the Volatile Deads together. Especially once you get enough damage, you can just kill off entire packs. It'll fly to the next pack. You can blow up the next pack. And it's actually really, really nice. It provides pretty smooth gameplay. There's lots of options for scaling the damage, which we will go ahead and talk about now that we're in the skill tree. So to start off, you basically want to fill out things that your character is going to need. So in Hardcore, we are always going to start with the energy shield nodes here, up to Deep Wisdom. I always pick up Heart and Soul over to Arcanist Dominion. On this run through specifically, now this is the first time I've actually picked up Firewalker. I normally completely ignore this passive point, but it does give us everything we need. It gives us damage, cast speed, and fire resist. It's a really good 2-pointer. Really recommend getting that because that helped improve our damage pretty substantially. Once we get the build online, you can actually take Undertaker, and not only is Undertaker another 60% damage if you've consumed a corpse recently, which is basically all the time, but it also gives you 2% life regen if you've consumed a corpse recently, which again is basically all the time. It's pretty much all the time, because that's what the build is. So after we pick up Arcanist Dominion and Firewalker, I would suggest skipping Quick Recovery. I mean, you can just spec out of it. It's kind of a good node anyway. It's not the worst thing in the world to pick up, but I would ultimately probably spec out of that in the endgame tree. But it's good for leveling. And then coming up and picking up Cruel Preparation and Deep Thoughts. So that'll cover all of your mana sustain. That'll give you a little bit of damage. It'll give you some life. To boot, keep you nice and tanky there. Depending on what kind of gear you get, now we basically don't get any strength on the tree. The only strength we do get is here at Blood Siphon, and then this travel node right there. And that's pretty much the only strength that we get on the entire tree. So depending on what kind of amulet you get, I had basically a white strength amulet until I was like level 40. and then I realized I had a white amulet because I had spec'd into this physique node here to cover my strength requirements. But depending on how that shakes out, you can pick up practical application. It's a good node overall. It gives you resist, gives you chance to avoid interruptions from stuns while you're casting, and it gives you strength and dex. It's a pretty decent pick. I think overall, I think even right now, I still need the strength. So, as needed there. At that point, then I would suggest going, after we've picked up these nodes here, I would definitely pick up Undertaker, and then continue straight down through here, about until when you're going to need to pick up your first Golem nodes. Now, that's only going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points away, so about the time you hit level 25 or so, 26 maybe, you'll want to start pathing up towards Golem Commander. That way you can line that up with your first Ascendancy point, which is going to be Liege of the Primordial. Now, about the time that you unlock Liege of the Primordial, you are going to get a massive, massive boost, because you're going to be able to get your Flame Golem, which is going to give you about 15% times 2.8. It's about 40% damage there. You're going to get your Chaos Golem, which is going to give you about 8% physical mitigation. And then you're going to get your Stone Golem, which is going to get you about 200 life regen, which is extremely good early on. You can basically face tank all of the traps in the second Labyrinth, kind of trivializes that. And then especially once you get those up to level 15 plus, they really, really start to take a huge effect. So you'll pick up Golem Commander there, and then you'll continue your way down here. Now, initially, I had, instead of pathing down towards Charisma, I did path over to the right and grab Blood Drinker because I needed some extra life. And so I pathed over this way and pathed down. In the endgame version of the tree, we do spec that differently because we do need Charisma in order to be able to fit Grace into the build. So we went ahead and pathed that way for that. You could just skip that if you'd like, especially if you're in softcore. You could just keep trucking your way down here. I think I ultimately probably would also respec these 3 nodes to these 3 points here, and then just go through the life like that and come from underneath. But you can path it however you'd like. I chose this way because I really, by that point, wanted Inveterate right away. So I picked up the Inveterate wheel. As soon as I picked that up, I picked up Instinct. That, I believe, gave me about 66% spell suppression. And then we came over to Quick Step. I initially had some spell suppress on my boots and my shield, but through some gear changes and some blah blah blah, we ended up having to pick up these 2 spell suppress nodes here. Ultimately, what you'd want to do is spec out of Quick Step, spec out of Intuition, and just finish out Entrench. Entrench is really good overall, especially if you do get your instant life flasks, which I do not. You can basically spam those as you're taking heavy damage from spells. Keeps you alive really, really, really well. And that's about where we landed with the tree. The character's only level 69. As far as Ascendancies goes, obviously the first one you want to get is Liege of the Primordial. I did take Shaper of Flames as my second choice. I definitely think that Mastermind of Discord would just be better, because we are using Wave of Conviction. We do currently have Wave of Conviction linked with Hex Touch and Flammability. Now that's going to be nice because Hex Touch is not going to have the reduced curse duration. Instead, it's going to have reduced effect. So you'll be able to pick up the 15% exposure plus the 25% exposure there, which is going to be 40%. And then I know this gem is going to get reworked, so it won't necessarily have this minus 40% to fire resist. But even if we lower that to 30 and then cut that in half with the new Hex Touch support, that's still going to be an extra 15% pen, which is going to put us at 55% fire resistance reduction, which is absolutely insane. Pretty much every act boss has 40%, I believe, so that puts them in negative res, makes them take a whole bunch of damage. Every rare just gets completely blown up, which is really, really nice. And then for our third Ascendancy, right before I went and fought Kitava, I went ahead and got Bastion of Elements. Bastion of Elements is really strong because we do pick up quite a few notables. I think right now we're at a 1700 shield there. When Kitava did his full screen fire breath thing, it basically killed the entire Aegis, killed off my energy shield, and left me with about 2200 life, so it only did 400 damage to my life. Otherwise, without that shield, it would have left me at like 400 or 500 life, which is really low. Could have potentially opened me up to being killed there, depending on if my stone golem was up. I believe he died at that point, so could have been very, very dangerous. Some things I would do to fill out the tree. The plan is to grab both Disciple of the Unyielding and Slaughter there, grab Cloth and Chain, grab Golem's Blood, and then grab Iron Reflexes. Like I mentioned, we are using Grace. That does currently put us at 5,400 evasion, only 1,000 armor. But once we get that swapped over with these armor and evasion nodes, it should leave us at about 20 to 25,000 armor. And our gear's pretty potato. Obviously, this is just like, you know, day one stuff. Just stuff that was found on the ground. A couple of these pieces are pretty decent. This amulet's pretty decent. I would craft life on that. The boots are really nice. Tri-res and 25 move speed. A little bit of suppress life and resist on the gloves. And then that's just a weapon. That's just a weapon. Just kind of crafted on some random 6 socket for the chest piece. And that's about it. It's a pretty solid build overall. I mean, it definitely does not, you know, blow up Ubers or anything at the moment, but we'll just go ahead and do a quick map showcase. We'll do it just white, so nothing crazy pops up, that way you can get an idea of what the playstyle is like, what to expect from the build. We're not going to hit a Delimi or nothing like that. So you can see, hit that flammability, just chain reaction on the corpses there. Yeah, a lot of the time you don't even need to use Unearth. Once you get things rolling, you can just kind of chain those together. As long as the packs aren't too far apart, sometimes you get unlucky like that. But yeah, you basically just blow up corpses, and you just chain those together. Make sure that get your exposure on these guys. Dodge the toxic balls. Then I can show you guys what damage on the boss looks like. Go, Orb of Alteration. Yeah, I find with the reduced curse duration, you usually get about 2 rotations of the Volatile Dead between Wave of Convictions. I think without the reduced duration, you'd probably be able to get 3. And yeah, you can see when you can tighten down the focus onto one enemy there, especially for single target, the damage is actually rather good. And again, we don't have a +1 on our weapon here. We do have a little bit of dot multi on the weapon, but we don't have any spell damage or anything there, no fire damage, no damage on our ring, no damage on our ring, just a little bit of cast speed. Excuse me. So overall, the damage could be a lot better. Obviously, this is just kind of a day one setup with just some self-found gear. You can see we're in the solo self-found league at the moment. But that's what I'm going to be playing. I'm really excited for it. I am so stoked for the new league. So if you guys like what you see, come definitely check me out at twitch.tv/thenormalexile. If you have any questions about the build, anything that I missed, anything you guys would like to know about, don't forget to leave a comment down below. And if you want to subscribe for future content, I would love that. So I will see you next time. Bye!